Hey, what's up, everybody? So AMC certainly could not fight the market direction if the market was going down. But then you had the Russian secretary coming out at 7:45 a.m. I mean, all stocks were in trouble, but 7:45 a.m. and he said diplomacy is a possibility. And what happened? The markets flipped. So I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about what to expect in the market today, where Bitcoin and other cryptos are going, and we have earnings for a bunch of companies coming out that we have to pay attention to. Also, I'm going to teach a quick lesson, so stick with me. All right, so Russia said diplomacy is a possibility. The markets reversed direction. The UVXY went from plus 6% because remember, the markets ended on Friday and everything was continuing to throw up on itself. Russia was moving troops closer. Now, Russia really hasn't moved troops closer because they had 130,000 troops on the border of Ukraine last Thursday. They still have 130,000 troops there. So nothing's really happened there. All right. Big names are buying AMC. Shorts may begin to cover. That's why I wanted to talk about that. Now, Bitcoin just had a nice spike. Anyone that follows me on YouTube or elsewhere, I mentioned that Bitcoin would be consolidating. And I mentioned that like 2 weekends ago. And as I mentioned it, Bitcoin went to 44,000. And I said, it's not going to run. It'll be between 44, which is the high as my video came out, and 40,000. And it'll consolidate there for 8 to 10 trading days because I told you February 15th was the day that I think Bitcoin and other cryptos can start to move higher. So we're not there because today's Valentine's Day, the 14th. We got the 15th tomorrow. So let's bring to Super Bowl commercials, all right? Coinbase flashed that QR code all over your screen. And I was like, what a stupid commercial. What an annoyance. And then it carried on for double the amount of time that it was supposed to. You know, they instead of 8 million, they paid 16 million for a full space. Now, I'm saying I'm not going to download that QR code, but enough people did, and they crashed Coinbase. So who spends $16 million on a commercial and doesn't safeguard their system to crash when everybody uses their QR code to find out whose commercial it is? So that doesn't make sense to me. But what's going to go on this week? Before I mention that, Coinbase on the app, in the App Store went from 186th position to second. People are downloading Coinbase. I think they were giving away some Bitcoin. But what's going on this week? So this week, we've got some earnings to report. NVIDIA. There are other stocks that have earnings. Cisco just made an offer to acquire Splunk. Splunk is up 10% pre-market. Also, 4:30 today, I've got a video dropping with PB. It's the second interview from him. Learn from him. He's 14 years old, and the kid makes bank. So that's dropping at 4:30 today. There are some stocks that I want to speak about, but first, let me just show you something. This is how I want you guys to trade, all right? This is one of our platform members. Let me bring it up big. Small piles, I tell you. You hear this lesson for new traders over and over. New traders, I tell you, small piles equal big piles. And people say, that's ridiculous. I don't even know what the hell that means. So I'm going to explain. Look at your screen, all right? Someone with a small account lost $151, $120 up, $1,000 up, $59 up. The first week of this month, up over $1,000. The second week, small, not risky trades. You're looking for best entry, and B-Finger, one of the members of our platform, he nailed it. So this isn't even the best results I had to show, but these are consistent small piles. That's why it makes sense for new traders. That's why I'm here, to level the playing field, to help the new trader. So he made 102, so he's up 2, he's up 1,000, he's up, $1,600 last week, $1,100 the week before. Small piles. That's how you do it, okay? I'm going to bring up some charts and stuff like that. But first, I wanted to bring up some stocks that have some good action today. So I wanted to tell you what you could potentially make money on, all right? So I would look at SLV, silver. Why? Silver and gold look like they're almost at the top of a head and shoulders, meaning they almost be a good entry point to buy some puts or some negative action on those two commodities. What else do I have? Micron, MU. Now, I spoke to my platform about MU last week. Micron was at like, what, $88, right? It's $89 and it's up 1% this pre-market. New price target came out, analysts. We know how I feel about analysts. They give price targets out because they already secured their positions and they want the stock to go higher or lower. But Micron, they came out with a price target of $120. Again, the stock's $89. Yes, it's going to push higher. Chip sector. What else? NVIDIA has earnings coming out this week. That could also push Micron higher, as well as vice versa. Micron, STX, even AMD, which got beat up. AMD, when it was falling on Friday at 118, I'm going, oh my God, how much lower could this go? 116, 114, 112, 110. I'm thinking to myself, now I know AMD and I know how much money AMD is making. So yeah, 110, and they just completed their deal for Xilinx. So it was NVIDIA was number one, AMD was number two, Xilinx was number three, and they bought number two, acquired number three. So that's another one I'm looking at. Again, I've got some Riot shares, some options, Meta, Facebook, right? So I loved the commercial yesterday. I thought Facebook commercial was amazing. Facebook pre-market was down over 1% until until Russia made their comments. Now Facebook is up a little pre-market, about flat. It's up 0.02%. So other ways to play. Let's bring up a chart. Let me see if I can bring up the SPY chart with us. Share it. Stop sharing it. Let me see if I can share the screen. Thanks for sticking with me, everybody. This is great. I'm getting much better at this, by the way. All right, so I got the SPY chart up. Let me make sure you guys can see it, and you certainly can. Let me make sure I'm pretty small. Boom, I'm teeny now. All right, so let's get to the SPY chart. And first of all, pre-market, we know that it went from like 437 down to 434, back up to 441. So, I mean, you're talking about a major, major move. Okay, so how is that going to help you? Me telling you that the SPY is going crazy up and down, right and left. Here's how. Patience. Let me get back to my StreamYard here before I explain the SPY and tell you guys how to not lose money. Patience. So here's what's going to happen. The market today is going to be extremely volatile, okay? Let's use my position in Riot options, all right? I have some calls in Riot options because I thought Bitcoin's going to spike this week. I said February 15th. So here's what's going to happen. At some point today, Riot will turn positive 2%. I will sell my call options when the market drops, because yes, it will drop. And I'm about to tell you why it's going to drop. And I'm not saying it's going to drop today, but it's going to drop and give me opportunity to buy in cheaper. And that's what I'm looking to do, because the Fed chair, not Powell, but one of the other Fed chairs came out this morning. Let me just come up to the quote that he said. Boom, here we go. Bullard, he repeats out loud, obviously, that he'd like to see 100 basis point increase by July, but he's going to defer to Chairman Powell. So they meet every other month, okay? Well, they meet every month, but they don't announce it. So they have 6 more meetings coming up. So we got March, which leaves 5 more meetings. Then I think we have June, July, they're possibly May. They think off August. They go September. So the point is, if they raise 100 basis points by July, that would have to be a 50 basis point hike in March just to start out. Now, everybody or the market has it factored in that it's going to be 25 basis points. So the market could potentially sell off. March 10th, I believe, is when the Fed has their next meeting and their announcement. So you could see the market sell off probably maybe a week or two prior. So if I zoom out, here's what I could see on the SPY. And let me bring it up one more time, because we're going to zoom out and not tell you exactly what's going to happen today, but more or less what's going to happen over the next month or so, okay? So let's bring up the 1 month. That'd probably be easier to show you guys. All right, so the Fed is next speaking March 10th, which will probably be right where my cursor is, where it says custodian over here. So what's likely to happen is March 10th, we're likely to be in the 430 range. But that doesn't mean we're going to go down this straight angle down to it. No, what we're probably going to do is we're probably going to get a bit of a bounce up here, then lower, another bounce, then lower until March 10th when we hit, 430 to 435. It doesn't mean that we can't see 450 before then or something to that extent, because remember, we were as high as 475. We were sitting at 456 last week. Support was at 450 until we broke support, and they were buying the SPY. Let's remember, when I came on Thursday and I basically said numbers were hot, they were buying the SPY. When I warned PB, that 14-year-old investor, and some of my platform members on Wednesday that I thought the market was going to drop, the market was bought up on Wednesday afternoon and Thursday morning after the numbers came in hot. So I know there's some mega money on the sidelines buying into the SPY and buying into the market. But it doesn't mean that they're going to buy in today or tomorrow. They are looking for the best price to get in. Okay, so before I get to a couple questions, because I wanted to see if I can fit in like one or two questions today, and I think we have time. I'm just going to look at some other stocks pre-market and tell you where we could see some movement. Okay, a lot of people want to see or know what's going on with the UVXY. So let me see if I can bring up that chart, because people asked me this morning, and I hadn't looked at it yet, so I can't really tell you. You know, what I could tell you is I understand the UVXY like family. I've studied the UVXY because it's the volatility index in the market, and it generally goes down. So let me bring up the chart. Here we go. All right, so I got let's go to the 1 year chart first, just so I can show everybody what happens over the course of the year. Over the course of the year, this ETF will go down. It will dissipate, right? Then they'll do a 10 for 1 reverse split, and they'll take it back up from $9 or wherever they reverse split it up to $90. But until that happens, this ETF goes lower and lower. Now, there are spikes in this ETF due to volatility, and you'll see we've seen some spikes similar to what we're seeing right now. Oh, we're fearing Russia war. The markets are dumping. CPI, Consumer Price Index, came in high. Interest rates are going up. However, the market is based on earnings. So I told you the average PE of a SPY stock right now is 23, which is historically high. I told you that a few days ago. And then what happened is the market threw up on itself. So that has been adjusted, and we're probably closer to 20 or even 19, which makes it more sense or more value in the market. So I don't see the UVXY spiking up. Let's go back all the way here. We've got 4 straight days of inflow, pushing it to $17. Well, in the past 2 days, we've pushed it to $17. So yes, people are saying, oh man, we're going to 20, we're going to 25. No, we don't do that. That's not happening. Even if Russia attacks, I don't think we're going up to $25 per share on this ETF. I think we could go up. However, if the markets are green today, expect a heavy outflow day on the UVXY. So I'm going to give you 2 scenarios. The markets are green. We believe what Russia's saying. The SPY will hit 444. Okay, it'll go up a full percent, and the UVXY will fill this gap down and close in the 14.75 to 15.25 range. Okay, so again, one scenario: markets are bullish, SPY goes up to 444, UVXY goes down to, let's just say 15. It's 15.25 to 14.75. And let's see where it is right now. It's up at 16.71. So if we go down a whole $1.50 and the markets are green, this ETF will go down 12% today. So there's money to be made on puts, especially if you get a spike at open. Now let's go back to a bearish scenario. Okay, let's zoom out, look at the 1 month chart. Now in a bearish scenario, let's assume there's inflow again today. Same volume, 159, 164, 120. So somewhere between 120 and 159. I think, again, we're going to peak out. We're not going above 1818, 1826. So again, if we're sitting at 1666 right now, that would be $1.60 higher, 10% higher. But Matt, you just told us we can go down 10%. Yes. Do you see the logic here? Here's my play. Okay. Again, zooming out, and I hate to go long-term on this, but if you give yourself 1 month's time, 30 days time from today, so you go out 4 weeks on your options, this is what I'd be looking to do. I'd be looking to buy calls and puts. Why? Because it's likely that we get a spike today. So on that spike today, what would I do? I would sell my calls for profit. I would secure 20, 25, 30% profit. Yes, my puts would be down relatively the same amount, but I have 4 to 5 weeks time. So what would I do? Sit back and relax, because we have earnings coming out this week. Okay, let's see if we can get to like 1 or 2 questions, and then we got to get off because you guys have to focus on the market. All right, any thoughts on Cisco? Yes, so Cisco has earnings this week, but Cisco just put in an offer for Splunk. Okay, I don't know how much they were paying. I thought I saw something like 20 billion, but again, my numbers could be skewed. So let me just see. I can't find it that quickly. So yeah, I mean, I would stay away from Cisco for 2 reasons, for 3 reasons actually. Number 1, market uncertainty, 10-year going up, the dollar going up. interest rates going up. It's harder on tech, and Cisco has struggled, even though Cisco's a chip maker. Okay. So systems, chips, things like that. Number two, they're putting out an offer for Splunk. It will take the valuation of Cisco down. Number three, they have earnings. So unless you know they're going to crush earnings, I would be extremely cautious. Let's see if we can get one more question in there. Lockheed, one of my clients. Yes, I have a separate side business. I'm always grinding, and Lockheed Martin has been a client of mine for about 20 years. There has been demand in Lockheed stock. Lockheed is a defense play. What does that mean, Matt, a defense play? Okay, it means it's a defensive play. The markets are in trouble. A lot of people go to oil companies, companies like this, a defensive stock like Lockheed Martin, aerospace. So what are they building? F-35 jets. They've got a new jet out. They build satellites as well. With Russia and everything that's going on there, we need to boost our defense system. One thing that rarely gets cut with our government is the defense budget. We spend. So I'm looking at the chart of Lockheed. There's still demand. Where could I see Lockheed? Even though it looks like it's at a high right now and it's been moving, I would love to suggest this stock at $340 rather than $396. But it's likely that Lockheed will break the ceiling line there, and I can see Lockheed riding up to about 424, which would be up about 6%, and then I think it would get a little frothy. With that said, everybody, put in your homework. Do your due diligence. You look at the ceiling, look at your resistance. In fact, I talk about this in all my videos. There's one right there. So I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day of trading, everybody.